Hi, you guys. How are we all doing? Oh, I blew it, didn't I?
No, she did good. I just said, I was just in my head thinking I'm gonna do this differently, so I just stuck the mic in her face first.
He got me. You got me.
So thank you everybody for joining us for another live. We see Nuke is in the house.
Oh gosh, and that sassy girl.
I'm sure more will be joining us. It's showing 11 over there. I know we didn't get much notice, but we just got done with meditation and mantras and a message that we wanted to get over to you guys.
Yeah, a little different kind of message this time. Came through higher self, which is interesting. I haven't actually channeled that before, but that's what happened.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So we will be talking about that, and we will give a chance for others to join us.
There's Miss Nicole.
There's Nicole. Much love. Hope everything is going well over that way, Nicole.
I know, Nicole. I wish I should send it to you. She sent me the cutest picture of a rooster sitting on a hen's nest.
Yeah.
It was cute.
I saw that when you shared that one. Yeah, that was cute. He's a little confused. He just wants to help out.
He does.
All right, we got Jen Calhoun in the house. Osboy, good morning. Dana, Lenora, Calvin, high vibe.
Oh, good. And there's Kim Rizzo and James. Energies 1111. How are you doing?
So good to see the family coming together. There's Beth. And there's Metri CA83 over in the UK. You know, there's definitely a lot of protests going on across the globe. And I was seeing bigger ones develop in the UK and also over in, it was Belgium and then France too. It's global. There's a global change. Brother Assad is with us, as is Karen.
This is wonderful. It's filling right up. This is wonderful. Oh, and there's Ham 37. How you doing?
Was there a Weed Me sighting? There is. There's Weed Me in the house.
There is a Weed Me sighting.
And there are a lot of things going on Earth Changes as well. I've been watching the numbers. Jeff is with us. And Mary Wheeler had a vision about fires. Yeah. So, like I was just saying to Cindy, I said, we're down to 394 as far as quakes that they're showing on the USGS. And she was like, well, that's good, right? And because it was up in the 700s. But I feel more like there's, the lack of activity here in some regards compared to what we've had recently, to me feels more like there's something bigger building. And I think Brother Natsaya sent something that we haven't had a chance to look at yet, but kind of saying to that effect. And, I know Dutch has been talking about, the slow slip event going on up in the whole Pacific Plate, really. Interesting. There's a lot to come, guys. There's a lot to come. And what I've been really feeling, we just got in the channeling, really confirmation of a lot that I was feeling. So I think that Cindy and I, we spend almost every single minute of the day together. Really.
It's just a lot of fun. It really is. Yep.
Brother Larry's in the house as well.
Yay.
And B. Lee, good to see you. Your mountain got struck by lightning and it's on fire right now. Catalina foothills. Wow. Be safe.
Yeah, totally be safe. Prayers to you.
Ice Pike, hello. Windy here all day yesterday and today, Kim Rizzo says 50 to 75 mile an hour gusts. Wow, that's more than what we've had.
Wow.
I forget where you are, Kim. If you could let us know. Were you in California? I thought you were on the West Coast, but I'm not sure again. Thank you, Nicole. Yeah, there's lots of news. Benjamin Ogilvy is in the house. Good to see your brother, Ben. And, New Orleans is defying Mother Nature. So says our brother, our Weed Me. Our one and only Weed Me, which we all enjoy.
We thoroughly enjoy Weed Me.
Okay, Pikes Peak. Oh, yeah, Pikes Peak, Colorado. Pikes Peak, a very, very, very high peak, high point. But, you know, we always have to do what we can to make ourselves as safe as possible and to protect our families and loved ones through these times. There's so much going on right now. Soul Reviver in the house. So those of you that don't know, Soul Reviver is our brother, Netsaya. And, you know, he is also ostracized by the powers that be all the time. So, like many of us, they make things difficult for us, you know. I want to send, you know, condolences out to Rex and at the same time cheer him on to keep going because I know they demonetized Leak Project now. So Leak Project demonetized, you know, there's no videos at Secure Team 10, you know, it's all taken down. There was a couple other ones too that got hit, you know, recently.
Yeah, well, they're picking them off, you know, one by one. Anybody who tells the truth or anybody who can tap into the ether and get information, they're at least right now they're trying to make it difficult to function and survive in this on this 3D plane without, you know, going to get some kind of a 9-to-5 job, you know. So they're doing this very deliberately.
Gyro riders, or it might be hero riders, over in Bordeaux. I have not had any Bordeaux in like forever, since I was living in Florida. And Bordeaux is a nice wine. I'm very partial to French wines, just saying. I don't know, sorry. Well, just saw Bordeaux and there you go.
You deserve Bordeaux, dear.
Thank you. And we love you guys too. Well, the live stopped and then went back on. Interesting. Probably just when we were talking about poor Leak Project and Rex. You know, I enjoy Rex a ton. He's always been one of my favorite channels. Just I love the fact of all the stuff he covers. You know, which is kind of like us. We kind of cover almost everything. You know, Lisa Post in the house. Yeah, there's so much going on. So I think we got enough people where we could start playing the channeling that we got. Now, this was really, really different because Cindy was in control, sort of. Not like other times when like the Galactic Federation will come through. Oh, okay. So Rex is now Pandora's Box. Yeah, that's a great name. That's a great one. You know, so this was different because this was actually Cindy's higher self coming through, which was pretty cool because she was conscious, but still not in total control, just still being a channel.
Right. Yeah, you're just conscious, you know. I mean, trance channeling is when things are like a really vivid dream, and when you come out of it, you don't remember. But this one's just, it was just different. It was a little bit, I don't know, it was a little glitchy, you know, but it's the first time I've done it. So, and we got some stuff to come through, and hopefully you guys will glean something from it and get something from it and grow from it.
Actually, I think it was really good. I think I personally think we got a lot out of it. And so I want to share it with you guys. It's important stuff, and I'm getting a lot of clarity with timelines now. And what Cindy was channeling from her higher self was very, very much what I've been getting through my meditation as well. For the most part, I think we're definitely in agreement, and it's sobering stuff in a lot of sense, because, you know, what's coming is going to be very, very challenging. And I don't think it's focusing on the negative because, you know, we're here for this. We're here for this transition. Hey there, Brother Scott. Glad you're here with us as well. And Connie, always a pleasure. So we're here for this transition. We're here for this purpose. This is why we're here. We're here to shift the ages. And, you know, everybody pretty much here in this chat room, I believe, are starseeds and are here on a mission. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the world now is starting to wake up, but they don't know exactly what to do with this. And that's part of the problem, what we're seeing with the chaos and all. We need to have a peaceful shift, and the powers that be don't want peaceful. They never want it peaceful, because peaceful doesn't feed the energetic loosh. It doesn't create that loosh that then feeds these. Really what's behind all this is that demonic energy, and they want war, they want chaos, they want fear, they want hatred, they want division, they want everything that you and I don't want. And so this is definitely a trial by fire, and that came through. So we're going to start with the channeling, guys. Ray, good to see you as well. Nathan C. War, what's it good for? Mid-July, that's Nathan speaking. It's very, very, very soon. And so we have to be ready mentally for it, because it's most definitely part of their plan. And so, we could always send out our intention, for the best. But we have a long battle ahead of us. And this battle is, I know a lot of people think that things are going to be over very quickly. But I think we're just really starting to get into the thick of things. Really, I think we've been just dipping our toes in the water. And now we're going to find that, the next step is going to take us perhaps in over many people's heads.
Yeah. Next step is going to be, I think the channeling could probably explain it better. And I really do hope people glean something from it.
Mary Davidson, good to see you with us again. Jamie Jones says, yeah, it feels like it's going down like the final season of Game of Thrones. When she attacked with the dragon and didn't stop attacking, that was just like, that's kind of like how it feels, really. Really kind of how it feels. And Rose War says, choose your expressions carefully with people. We have to be more responsible for being the peace. Yes, we do. We do have to be responsible, and we have to try to formulate an image of what that's going to look like in these times. Being the peace while there's so much chaos all around us. And again, it's that Buddhist detachment that we have to not allow ourselves to be pulled in. We were warned, that he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. Mm-hmm. And so we got to be very careful.
Very, very careful. Yep.
Okay, so here we go, guys. I'm going to start it. Do we have a connection?
We have a partial connection. This is a different kind of connection. They're really wanting me to tell you that the human race is going through what they would call trial by fire.
Trial by fire. Well, that seems appropriate.
Everything that you're attached to, everything that isn't supposed to be in your life, is going to be burned away, and it's going to be very painful but very rewarding.
I can see that happening with many people. As we know, so many of our family members are going through a lot right now, purging and being kind of confronted with our own inner demons.
We are going to be confronted by our own inner demons. Also, they want to talk about spiritual substance, and that we need to dig in with our heels very strong right now, because the elites are trying to create our new normal for us. They're trying to make it simply chaotic looking externally, when mankind is making a giant leap right now, and the struggle is to create as much chaos as possible so that we create this new normal ourselves, or accept it as part of our new way of life. And the pushback needs to be with us and our hearts.
We have had the question come up, why won't the Galactic Federation intervene?
This is our human experience. This is something that we wouldn't want to be, we wouldn't want it to be compromised. When they call it a test, it's not really a test if you get all the answers.
So our higher selves want the freedom to work this out.
Well, it's necessary for humankind to make that big step in evolution. We have to work it out ourselves, individually and then collectively.
Are we connected to the Galactic Federation here? Is this Laurel that's coming through?
This is Cindy's higher self that's coming through. And these are the things that we need to work on to advance as a species. It's very important that we understand that everything that's going on around us now, including the threat of war, which is very, very close, is created to pull our energies down and stop our evolution. We can't let that happen.
So, again, we should practice that Buddhist detachment, even if we see something like, World War III breaking out. We have to still focus on our spiritual development.
That's the only way. Our spiritual development, also taking care of your body, taking care of your mind. These are things that they can't take away. We have to understand that there are certain things that we cannot control, but there are certain things under our control, and that's our responsibility to take these things that we can control and make the best of it. It's part of human evolution. It's extremely important, Drano.
Is there some sort of galactic treaty that you're aware of on the higher planes that is perhaps expiring at this time point, and that's why everything is also boiling to a head?
It's my understanding that there was a change of guard not too long ago, and things are being handed over, but they're not going to be handed over politely. We'll say it that way.
Well, also, it must be, I would think, because of the energies coming in, which are changing us, so almost as if there's really no choice. Of course, it's perhaps in their power to make things as difficult as possible.
It is currently in their power to make things as difficult as possible and try to mold our reality, and the guides just simply cannot continue to stress enough how important it is that we open our heart chakras and we start working as one, and we stay away from division. We do not act on our divisiveness all the time. If we feel resistance towards something, we need to stop that resistance and step back and ask ourselves, why am I resistant to this? What resists persists, and it creates a negative energy wave that stands in your field and is going to slow your ascension, if not make you sick and kill you.
So again, purging, detoxing, focusing on spiritual practice, those are of paramount concern right now.
It's of paramount concern. Also, acknowledging that they are trying to create our reality. They understand what's happening. The elites are trying to set up some kind of hierarchy, or go back to the days of old where there's kings and queens, and these sorts of things, and that we're just peasants. This is a pivotal time. It's extremely important we understand that this is what's happening. And I think when this is accepted in the collective consciousness, things will start to change.
Well, the protests keep growing. We see that globally the protests are growing. There is also that chaotic element of looting and all. And I was looking at people in Belgium today looting a Gucci store and, thinking, well, the symbolism, I mean, Gucci is obviously extravagance and capitalism, personified in so many ways. But I think there is much more going on than just the single killing of one individual. I think that at a certain level of consciousness, people are, maybe even if they're not completely awake, they're rebelling against the system.
They're rebelling against the system. Their problem is they're being so destructive in doing so. We look at people like Martin Luther King, who pressed on with persistent. He was persistent in what he did. But he was peaceful in his protests, and he spoke with passion. He spoke with spiritual substance, and he got somewhere. Unfortunately, he got killed, but he made the last true movement.
So we wonder where an individual like him is now, having done what many would view as a great service to humanity as he moved up to a higher density.
He is moved up to a higher density, and he does guide many to this day. If people are able to open their hearts and open their minds and listen for his guidance, they're getting it today. If you're listening to this, you may be getting it too.
And we were talking about the Rainbow Warriors and how, there is going to be a movement of people around the globe, all traditions, all colors, that will do it the right way and make change.
There is a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. And it seems right now humanity is on the precipice of the ability to make a huge decision and accelerate our ability to ascend, move us into our light bodies quicker. Our fear is that they're going to take the wrong path and the destructive path, because this seems to be what most people are doing, is being destructive. They're not working with their hearts, they're working with their primal instincts.
The question came up too, or we had one person comment on, don't get into ships. Why would you ever trust anybody? Why would we even need to get in ships of, say, the benevolent ones that are coming?
When the earth makes her changes, it won't be feasible to be on the surface. We do want people to be safe. We do want people to be able to move off planet, save a certain amount of people, so that when the earth changes are done, we can come back and rebuild. This has been going on for eons and eons, and cycles and cycles and cycles, and this is why people are having dreams about being on ships and looking down at the planet. This is why people are having dreams about rebuilding. The time is near, and this is simply the cycle.
So, like what we had seen in the Adam and Eve story, that type of scenario, the Chan Thomas Adam and Eve story, where you might be talking 1 or 2 mile high waves rushing over the surface and 300 plus mile an hour winds, which I only see coming through crustal displacement. You're talking about those type of events where it would pretty much be almost impossible to survive on the surface.
Earth kind of folds herself in. Everything that's on the surface is going to go under, and everything that has been under is going to be on the surface. It's like a folding is the best way I can explain it. And no, you wouldn't want to be on the surface when this happens.
And I'm sure it's in everybody's mind, when we're saying close, that type of event, is that something that is literally almost imminent, like months, weeks, years, decades still?
The best information I can give you on that without really dealing with time is it's more of an events. It's a series of events, and the best way she can put it in time would be possibly 10 to 20 years from now.
Is there a significant first event that we should look for? Like Casey spoke of certain events first and then others would follow. Does she see a certain triggering event that would indicate that it's fairly close? Perhaps, something from the sun or something else appearing in the sky, or perhaps a first massive quake in a certain location?
Well, you can watch with human behaviors. Humans are going to get far more anxious. They're going to get more fearful. It is an energy that's coming onto the planet that's changing our bodies. And because we've been conditioned the way we have, we're going to be in severe resistance. People are going to change. Then you want to look for the war. After the war, these are when these earth changes are going to start to take place. That's what you want to look for.
So, as what I've gotten from Nostradamus is that there's basically, there's war and revolution going on concurrently. And that's what my intuition has told me too, is that the big event is after the war as well.
Yes, you can look for it after the war, but they need war so they can try to complete the humans' inability to ascend. We really cannot be looking on the outside of us being concerned right now. It's very important we go within, become spiritual, be aware of your surroundings.
So, do not take part in the war. You would not encourage us to take part in the war.
Do not take part in anything that's negative or resistant, anything that harms anyone. Continue to cultivate peace within yourself. And my heart's burning.
Okay, thank you. So that was the end of that session, which was very different, very clear. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. It's what kind of like I've been feeling too. And so like I do think that this bigger event that's going to happen is going to happen, still a ways down the line, as far as what we might call crustal displacement. What she described there was very much, it's a lot like Mother Shipton's and also Casey. I mean, they both said that places that have been central to our history are going to be on the bottom of ocean beds, and there's going to be completely new lands rising up. So those wild earth changes maps look like they might be pretty accurate as an after everything is done scenario. And pull one up.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of changes. I think as above, so below. Things are going on in the cosmos, and those energies are coming down to us. And I mean, a lot of people have been reaching out saying that the anxiety is really harsh. They're having a lot of problems. There's been a lot of struggle, but understand that this struggle is almost like a snake shedding its skin. We want this. This is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And it's something that's happening for us, not to us, for our own evolution, which is, and they know this too. The elites know it. And I think that's why they're doing what they're doing.
So, kind of like I guess the way to take it as far as, okay, well, where's a good safe zone? The safe zone's in your heart. That's really it. It's all about raising your vibration.
It is. And, that's just been the constant message. And I think that's what they want out there. They really want people to take it seriously, and I know we have our day-to-day struggles, and we have issues after issues after issues. And it's like our very being has been conditioned to respond to things in a negative way. And it's up to us, and we can do this. We have it within us to turn that negative conditioning into a more positive one that we can work with, and that's going to treat our bodies with respect and love, and just be good to yourself.
Yeah, lifting each other up as much as possible. And that's just so key right now, and not getting pulled into it, like we had said. He who lives by the sword dies by the sword, So, and this is a different time, because who was saying it so eloquently in there? Talking about how, the more intense the negativity is out there can actually slingshot us. We could almost... Scott. That was Scott. Yeah, Scott was saying it very well. It's an opportunity for us to use the energy, take it, amplify it, send it back in a positive direction. So we have to be very careful of that. Recognize what we're facing, because they are intent on the quote-unquote war happening, WW3, and they are intent on it, and they're going to manifest it if they can, and according to really all the prophecies, they do. Whether we're looking at the Hopi, whether we're looking at the biblical prophecies, whether we're looking at many other indigenous people, there's been countless people. Countless, George Washington's vision, Dudeman, it goes on and on and on. There's so many people that have seen this, including yours truly. Those were some of the clearest visions that I personally saw. And so I do see, the U.S. being attacked and invaded. I think it could happen anywhere. I mean, look, there's a lot of activity in Libya right now going down. I'll dig it up and put it on the other channel. As far as what's going on, I've found some stuff that I couldn't get other sources saying the same thing about Egypt crossing over into the border. I think the war could happen at any moment. It could start at any moment now, any moment. But I feel certain it'll be underway by the time we're heading into 2021. So I do think it starts this year, and I want to be positive, but and put out all good vibes. But at the same time, we just have to recognize what's happening and act accordingly.
Yeah, and with all the changes that are going on, that's not exactly the easiest thing to do, because of the way, like, a lot of people that are asleep are the ones, I think, are the ones that are causing the most chaos in the protests. And it doesn't need to be that way. The chaos doesn't need to be here. And I think if we can find that happy place in our heart, no matter what's going on around us, that's what's going to be the new normal. I believe we can create it. I truly, truly do. Our energies are rising. Our abilities are getting stronger. And they know that. So, it's best that they grab us and condition us now. And hopefully, we'll bring it on our own selves. But we're catching on to that. And that's a problem for them too.
Good to see Aussie Dave joining us, and Watchman as well. Anybody that needs any sort of anything that we do, which, is obviously energy work, any sort of spiritual coaching, of course, Vedic readings, Vedic charts, tarot readings, anything, feel free to reach out to us, evolutionaryenergyarts at protonmail.com, or I still have the Gmail as well, evolutionaryenergyarts at gmail.com. There's a lot going on, and it's going to go to another level. So we have to take the peace within to another level to counteract that. And I think that is, kind of the key of today's reading.
Definitely. And, if you're going through a really hard time right now, just please keep in mind that that's something that's being done for you. And I know that your higher self wouldn't change it, even if it is really painful, even if it is really hard. We're pretty resistant beings, and we came down here for a purpose, and it's going to be okay. Just keep hanging on.
So, I saw Rosemary said she's noticed the altitude has dropped by at least 100 meters. That might be something to take a look at, guys. Just notice that as we were driving maybe about 4 days ago in the desert through an area we go through many times, I was just looking off to the left and saying, why does it look different? Why does it look different? I mean, something looks different. And Cindy got the same impression. She's like, well, it seems like it maybe has risen, and I feel like that is going on. There is stretching in some areas. There's some areas that are rising and some areas that are going to recede. I think that what we got from the channeling is, even if you're at a very high altitude, it might not be high enough when it comes. But that still may be 1 or 2 decades away. It doesn't mean that we won't see Cascadia go, or the San Andreas go, or some of the other things that were foreseen, such as Casey talked about Japan going into the sea, and he talked about Northern Europe being changed in the twinkling of an eye. And when we look at Mother Shipton's prophecy, that's exactly what she says. She says, that seabeds that are right now under 5,000-6,000 feet of ocean are going to be pure, clean lands for us to re-inhabit after the changes. So we have gotten messages from Laurel, and we've gotten now this channeling from Cindy's higher self that is indicating that it's going to be necessary to either be safely off the earth for these changes up above, or perhaps in some safe zones inside the earth, in the inner earth as well. And but the earth itself on the surface, doesn't even look likely that our earth bag home would make it through it.
It might not, but I do believe that I don't know, something safe is going to happen. I look at all the petroglyphs and stuff. This has happened over and over and over. So it's not their first rodeo either. And it'll be really a miraculous time to be on the planet, off the planet, wherever we're going to be. It's going to be, and I'm pretty sure all of us in here have probably done this before.
And also the fact that this is something that happens regularly, and then that makes kind of sense when we see everything around. With there's cities under the ocean, there's roads under the ocean, and Marla, what was she saying? The Earth needs to spin clockwise again. And that was something that when I was looking at it completely from a scientific point of view, I just have a hard time accepting that the Earth could stop and then reverse direction, even though I'm aware that it says that in some different traditions and legends in the past. The sun standing still, and you can look at the Bible and talking about the sky rolling up like a scroll. We know we're in a magnetic reversal underway. And this is something that happens in a regular time frame. If we look at Diehold Foundation, he thinks the sun's going to go nova. I think he said 2044, 2045, something like that. So, that would be perhaps in that timeline as well, because the way I view it is the sun is a relay, and the sun's a relay from the ultimate creator, and is sending us energies, helping us to prepare, because on 5D, it is already basically like a heavenly situation. So that's why, it's so imperative for us to raise our vibrations. And when we talk about rainbow warriors, the other thing we could look at is the aspect of the spiritual side of it. Not just that it's people of every race, color, and creed all around the globe coming together, but perhaps an allusion to the rainbow body, like the Tibetan rainbow body and ascension as well.
Yeah, we could look at it a lot of different ways, and a lot of things that we probably can't even comprehend right now because we are in this 3D reality. There's a lot of things that we haven't thought of. We're not using our higher minds, but we're gonna, and there's no change that takes place without growing pains. That's for sure.
And some of us have had those dreams and experiences of being up in the ships, and Cindy's been spending a lot of time up in the ships.
It's been fun. I don't know, in my nap time and stuff where I phase out, I keep catching myself up there, looking out like these bay windows. I guess they're windows. I don't know, whatever they use, but I am looking down on the earth. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I had that too about 4 nights ago. Clear vision of seeing the earth from a ship, but it was a ship that was almost like it was almost like being in a beautiful park. It was just gorgeous on the inside and full of life. So, some of these ships might not be as sterile as you think, but almost like ecosystems, that have life and elements in them, like running water and trees growing and animals and things. Think about it. Think about the legend of Noah's Ark too. Maybe what if that was really symbolic and not an ark, but what if that was him being picked up and taken in a ship and taking, life of all different sorts, pulling it up and then returning it to the earth afterwards.
And hold on, somebody says, Maria says, what can you say about the number 144? I'm guessing you mean the 144,000. What strikes me right away is those are oversouls, and we do branch off from those. That's what I feel that's about.
And so a lot of these, you guys probably understand a lot of these concepts, higher self, oversoul. The best book that I've found that explains these things is a book that was written by a Pomono shaman, and it's called How the Universe Works. It's out of print right now. Fabulous book. It is my most lent out book. I've lent it out so many times. It keeps coming back because it's important and it's out of print. But it really does a great job, and I've done videos showing some things from it, explaining how the universe does work, and we do reincarnate time after time after time, and there are other beings probably on Earth right now that are basically you, and it's kind of mind-blowing to think of that. But one of the easiest ways to envision it is a video game. The way the video games are now, they're so lifelike. Well, a video game created by Source, what would that be? It'd be pretty lifelike, like what we're in right now.
Yeah, it would. It would be really super cool. And you guys have been so nice and so wonderful and so supportive in chat. I truly appreciate it. And I couldn't ask for a better crowd. You guys have just been so nice and inclusive too. It's like your ideas matter and your pieces matter because we're all pieces of a bigger puzzle, and the more brains we can put together, the more we can figure this out. So there's just a lot of things that are going on, and really I can't stress the emotional changes enough. I can't. Those are paramount for us to be able to transmute that information, find those happy places in our heart and in our minds and in our souls, regardless of what's going on around us. I feel that's what we're being called to learn, called to do. And it is a lot of internal work, and it is a lot of work on the self, but it's important work. It's not selfish work.
Oh, I just grabbed the book. It's
Oh,
bothering me.
okay. So Michael is going to go grab the book now. It's bothering him. So you guys are stuck with me. But yeah, you're welcome, Kim. No problem. And I don't know. It's just a beautiful time. It's a difficult time, but it's a beautiful time because, just like I guess you would look at a caterpillar, going into its cocoon and making its changes and coming out to be a butterfly. And also you would look at generational changes too, because like the monarch butterfly, for example, is really cool because I think it takes like 3 generations to complete a cycle. And we have been in generations of this. And I think this is a really important generation that is going to learn to do the inner work. Yeah, it's just a really beautiful time.
Wow. Look at what they want for this book now. $948.05. Sure. So anyway, there are other ones. There's 25 used from 1330 and 3 new from 948. Wow. So when I see things like this, and I've seen a lot of things like this, it tells me that there's good value in this. And there's a lot of the books that, man, I mean, I have a few hundred books now. I used to have a few thousand. And some of them, many of them, are out of print. So there's not too many of these left, guys, but I would strongly recommend it if you're interested. It was a fabulous book. And so it's written by Leah Maggie Garfield. And Pathways to Enlightenment, really good, whatever, 16, 20 bucks. It gets into oversouls and everything. Really good stuff. So it'll probably be completely gone. It's not being printed anymore. So I would definitely recommend it. Really good info that came out, and thank you, Cindy, so much for your work, because it does tax her, and I do worry about it because it always kind of gets her heart burning. Although this time she was able to go almost 16 minutes, so that was the longest she's ever been able to go.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. So I'm able to go a little bit longer and channel this information and get it out to you guys. So yeah.
So Jeff says, read us the book. It's like, yeah, maybe we will go over some chapters of it. I did do a video on it. I think it is on the second channel here. Just talking about oversouls and things like that. So when we talk about the higher self, it's in a different density. And again, I think the clearest way to look at this is like, it's not the entity in the game. It's the entity holding the controller, right? And you have to realize that we are basically the persona in the game, and the higher self is the one that's holding the controller and making the decisions as the game is being played. So I think that's the clearest way we could look at it in today's society.
Well, what's that name of that movie? I forgot the name of it, but it explained everything. Avatar. Yeah. If you watch Avatar, that's how everything truly feels to me.
And Jen ordered it. Good going, Jen. There's not much left. It's good stuff, and gets into soul family and things like that. Because many of us have known each other in the past, and I think with the people in this family right here, a lot of us, if we could even probably recognize each other's vibes just at this level and communicating, in cyber world. But when you meet somebody in person and you're like, wow, I like that person. That person really feels like I know them. Well, you probably do. I mean, they might have been your mother. They could have been your wife. They could have been your brother. Could have been your uncle, your best friend in different lives. We tend to come back in groups. Not always, but in general, we do.
Yeah, and I think this is a really important group. Very, very important work that we're all doing. We're all doing it together and working together with our hearts, and, understanding and just taking the information in is really, really important.
Exactly. Like Kim is saying, I see you, you know? That's it. That's it exactly. I see you. You see the real you. So it's a blessing. And so it's a real blessing to be with you guys because we love you guys.
Totally love you guys.
Yeah, and okay, Aussie EEA family meetup. Well, that would be fun. And we have to figure a way to support each other feasibly in whatever way we can, because there are like family members too that need certain help, you know, and really could use certain things. Like there are some family members that have land, but you know they can't work it themselves because of physical restrictions. And there's other people that don't have a place to go, you know, but can contribute in so many different ways. So it's always good to try to figure out ways we could help and support each other, you know, even when we're so far apart physically in many cases.
You know, just sending each other the energy right now, I think because our energies is getting stronger, our heart chakras are making a difference, and it matters. So, I mean, just I feel like with our intent to help support each other, or at least, you know, for yourself, you make the intent that some supportive network or supportive energies come into your life, and they will. You know, all you have to do is ask for it and then look for it.
So, guys, I want to thank you so much for your support in every way, on Patreon, of course, and on Ko-Fi as well. And it's just always a pleasure to be with you guys. I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Keep your vibes high as we ride this roller coaster.
Keep them very high. We love you guys. God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.